Okay, so it was our last one a night for our kids. So Wednesday night, they go to our church for an event for just kids. And so often that's when we record the podcast, but we didn't have to, or we chose not to, I should say, this last week. So we decided to go out to dinner because I was like, okay, this is our last free childcare to get a date in. And so we went out to dinner and we ran into some friends at the restaurant. And so we were talking with them. And actually, this friend is the one that recommended the name for our podcast.
Yeah, because we were going back and forth on a few options. And he said, what about Of Mice and Matterhorns? And that really resonated with me.
Yeah. So him and his wife and their kids are going to be headed to California, I think for some kind of graduation. And so they were like, so we have one day that we could possibly fit Disneyland into. And their kids are all, I think, 7 and under. And they're like, is it worth it to try to do one day with small children? And I was like, totally.
What would you do if it's you and 3 kids under 7?
Mm-hmm.
What would your day look like?
So I would probably not rope drop as much as I would love to.
Park hop?
Park hop? No, absolutely not. There's no point. If I had one day, I would do Disneyland only. I would go to, depending on the wait, but I would probably do Peter Pan first.
Okay.
But if Peter Pan is like at 45 minutes, then I'd probably not, because sometimes it'll go down to 35. But I'd probably try to shoot for Peter Pan first, then Alice in Wonderland, skip Toad's Wild Ride because completely unnecessary.
That's incorrect.
I do Snow White. Pinocchio would kind of depend on the kids. It can be a little scary because it's on the darker side. I would probably stop for breakfast at Red Rose Tavern. So I would go get the Bonjour breakfast and Tavern cold brew. And then I'd probably head over to, I might do Teacups first. And then get the breakfast.
Okay.
Then do Casey Jr.'s Train, Dumbo, Storybook Canal.
Okay.
Do all those. So that's all of Fantasyland except Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. That one.
All right. Well, this is your day. I'm going to go over mine.
Yep. And then I would head up to, It's a Small World. Get on that. Usually the line's shorter up there. Or I could see going straight into Toontown at that point because I think Toontown, sometimes it opens at 8, sometimes it doesn't open till 9, and I don't know if they might have a consistent schedule now, but I know when we've gone, it opens a little bit later, but I don't know if they've changed that. So if they haven't changed that and it still opens at 9, then I'd see what time it is and either do It's a Small World or head straight into Toontown and go on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Then head over to Roger Rabbit's. Then if Minnie or Mickey's house is open, probably go see those characters in either order. Then head over to Chip 'n Dale's Gadget Coaster.
Okay.
And then let the kids play in Goofy's How to Play Yard and Donald's Duck Pond. Those are really fun areas. Our kids can spend a long time there.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing that would probably land us around lunchtime because we do move quick. If this is one of your first times, you might have taken it slower because getting through those rides might take a while depending on the crowds. Okay. So if lunch needed to happen somewhere in there, we have not eaten at Daisy's Cafe yet, but that has been on our list because they've got that flop over, which is a pizza, and they've got some kind of tea that I've been wanting to try. Okay. So I'd probably stop there to try that food. And then I would head out and ride the Disneyland Railroad and take it over to the Tomorrowland station and ride Autopia as much as I dislike Autopia, but kids love it.
Kids seem to love it.
And then ride the Finding Nemo submarine ride, which I absolutely hate. Kids love it. Do Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters and Astro Orbiters. So that's all in Tomorrowland. Okay. So hit up those rides. Probably grab some kind of snack at Galactic Grill. Galactic Grill has like burgers and stuff that they're usually okay, but they usually have some kind of phenomenal snack. So that's always something that I look for. Okay. Star Tours, depending on your kids. I mean, this I'm planning for young kids. I would potentially do because that's any height.
I was afraid of everything as a kid and I liked Star Tours.
Mm-hmm. So I'd probably do that. At this point, Space Mountain, the line is way too long, so you won't get on it. And your smaller kids can't ride it anyway. And our smaller kid threw up last time, so he won't ever ride it again, he said. Also was doing the perfect day. I would also make sure to get a picture in front of the castle.
Okay.
Because that is something that you can go back and do every single time. And I'm sure there's extra time to get more things in,
Mhm.
but I would probably end with dinner at the Plaza Inn
Chicken dinner?
for the chicken dinner.
Okay.
And that is, again, this is a very quick.
Finish it up with fireworks?
Maybe that's 9:00, so that's kind of late.
Okay.
So if I were going to do fireworks, I could probably fit in Frontierland and get Thunder Mountain Railroad in there. And this family is not a huge Star Wars fan, so then we're like, okay, we're not going to recommend Batuu.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But if you're Star Wars fans of any age, I would go to Batuu. Millennium Falcon, I think, you have to be taller for. But Star Wars Rise of Resistance, 40 inches. So it is a little bit shorter for you to get onto that one. And that one is an amazing ride for anyone. But just the land itself is really cool.
Yeah, if you're into Star Wars.
Yeah. I could come up with this recommendation in probably hundreds of different ways just for Disneyland. That doesn't even include California Adventure.
Yeah.
So this isn't like my perfect one day at Disneyland. This is my one day at Disneyland with young children who have never been.
And here's mine. Go to Knott's Berry Farm. Would be my first recommendation. If you've got one day and you're hoping to get the full Disneyland experience, do something a little more calm and relaxing and go to Knott's Berry Farm. It doesn't have that pressure. But if I were to...
And the price tag. It doesn't have that price tag.
But if I were to do Disneyland for 3 kids under 7 and I'm going, my day would look like rope dropping Fantasyland, kind of like what you said. I'd do everything, especially Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but I would rope drop Peter Pan. It's going to be the longest line all day long anyway. And if you can rope drop it and manage it, and you've got maybe a stroller or two, and you can get there, great. You get that in. All the other lines are not going to be bad. I would clear out Fantasyland. I would get Disney Plus or Genie Plus.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to the rides, you get the photo passes for everything. So you're getting all the photos that you get on the rides, all the photos that you get from professionals in the park. But while I'm going through Fantasyland, I am loading up on Genie Plus ride so that I can hit up Thunder Mountain Railroad after I finish Fantasyland and anything else that might interest my kids. So I would do that. I'd be mobile ordering all the food in advance as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Get the app and mobile order.
Yeah.
If our friends are listening.
First things first, get the app and figure out how it works. I will walk you
through that if I need to.
Yeah, watch a YouTube video on how the app works and get that down pat. Clear out Fantasyland. Get everything done. Absolutely everything. I'm rope dropping. I'm getting that done. I'm getting as many fast passes as I can to get everything done as early as possible. As soon as I finish one ride out with the fast pass, I get on another one so that we can hit all the major ones. If my kids want to get on Space Mountain, we get on Space Mountain. If my kids want to get on Star Tours, even if the line's not bad, we get on Star Tours with a fast pass. But I am getting as many rides in as early as possible. Everything. I'm not spreading these out throughout the full day because by noon, hopefully all the big rides that I would have wanted to do are done. Or at least I've seen all of Fantasyland because I think rope dropping Fantasyland is the right move with kids, with little kids. And they're going to get tired. So if you've got a hotel nearby, you can go take a break at lunch. But I'm mobile ordering.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
Don't take a break at lunch.
Don't take a break at lunch.
Eat lunch, take a quick break in the park.
Okay.
And go till about 3.
Yeah.
And then take your break from 3 to 5 when that is the busiest time in the park. Do not take a break at lunch because it's not the busiest time yet. 3 to 5 is the busiest time in the park.
So I'm doing that. I'm getting everything done. The last big Genie Plus ride that I'm getting is Mickey and Minnie's. I'm lining that up so that I've done everything that I think my kids will want to do ride-wise. And then we get on Mickey and Minnie's. And the rest of the day, whatever they want to do, we've experienced all the big rides. If you're trying to experience Disneyland, great. Now you can go spend all your time on Tom Sawyer Island or Pirate Island, and you can spend all your time in Toontown, and they can run around doing whatever they want. And then when they want a break, you take a train ride around the entire park. You jump on one of the Main Street vehicles. You go up and down, and then you can spend time on Main Street. I know that our oldest, when we took him for the first time, he spent what was an annoying amount of time in that theater where they played little old cartoons. Yeah. Kids love that kind of stuff. But like Genie Plus, you've got Autopia you can get a fast pass for. You've got Matterhorn, Astro Blasters. I think it would be worth it.
Star Tours too, I think.
Yeah, Star Tours. And so then once you have your rest time, you've already gone on everything. You can spend the rest of the time doing whatever you feel like doing without having the pressure of feeling like you're missing out on anything major, because if you're going with little kids, have it be a little kid day and then finish it out with fireworks.
But you have to remember, if these people haven't gone since they were like in college, and they're not used to the app and all of that, that's going to be a lot to pack in. So
it's a lot to take in at first, but I think if you know how to use the app, it's not going to be bad when you're there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of YouTube videos that explain how to do it. But that's how I would do it. I would go in aggressive, knowing how to use the app, and I would try to get everything done before lunch. And then the rest of the day...
You can't even do that now, and you're an experienced Disneylander.
And then the rest of the day, you can do whatever you want.
That is way too overly optimistic.
You can spend the rest of the day going on the canoes, just like everyone should.
To all Disney adults and morbidly curious casuals, we proudly present our spectacular festival pageant of theme park ramblings and peculiar opinions in thousands of seconds of average quality sounds of Mice and Matterhorns podcast.
Welcome to Of Mice and Matterhorns, the show where we revel alongside and reveal the mystery of Disney adults. I'm your host, Daniel.
And I'm Shannon.
And today we are taking a look at the final day of our last Disney trip, where we spent most of the time in Disneyland. We intended to do the whole thing last episode, and we ran out of time, so we were just covering the last day and going over our trip report.
Mm-hmm.
I have Waffle Krista written as the first thing.
Yeah, so I think we had planned a rope drop, and that didn't happen. And so I had mobile ordered, and they had shortened the time on mobile orders. They used to give you a window of a half an hour in which you could say, I'm coming. And they shortened it to 20 minutes. And so it made it a lot more difficult for planning purposes of, okay, we planned a rope drop, so getting something between 8 and 8:20 is not going to be a problem, except when you get in the park at 8:20. Then you don't have that extra 10 minutes that you used to have to go grab your food.
That's right. I remember we were kind of pushing it on this.
Yeah.
And you had to book it to Red Rose Tavern.
Nope.
No? Jolly Holiday.
Jolly Holiday.
You booked it to the Jolly Holiday, and I had to go to, where was the Waffle Cristo?
That was the Royal Street Veranda.
Royal Street Veranda. Okay.
Yep. So you ran over there. I sat with the boys, and I got the strawberry croissant at the Jolly Holiday, and you got the Monte Cristo.
Waffle Cristo.
Waffle Cristo. There we go. I was not a huge fan. Our youngest, and you really enjoyed it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Monte Cristo sandwich that's, instead of it being the normal French toast that it's on, it's all inside of the waffle. So it's ham, cheese, inside of a waffle with powdered sugar and a jelly dip. I really liked it. I thought it was very, very good. What did you think of the strawberry croissant? Because we've seen a lot of people eat it. What was your thoughts on it? I thought it was
good. Yeah. I have not had very many good strawberries in California, to be honest.
That's weird. California's got great strawberries.
No, they don't. Not like Washington.
Okay.
And so it was really good. It had like some kind of like sweet syrup type thing. I'm not really sure what. And then the croissant was cut in half and the strawberries were stuffed in there. Yeah. And it was just a really good start. And we were waiting for your sister and her friend. Oh, sorry. Her coworker.
Sorry. And I was going to say, I was just okay with the strawberry croissant. It was nothing super special to me.
Yeah, so you guys finished off the Waffle Cristo, and I finished off the strawberry croissant. The Waffle Cristo also had cheese, so I was like, well...
Did we get a bonjour breakfast after that?
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Oh.
So are we allowed to say your sister and her friend's name?
I'm sure that, yeah.
All right.
Fine.
So, our coworker. So that was the running joke the entire time of... So Joanna is Daniel's youngest sister, and she calls her friend Nina her coworker because that's how they originally met. So we referred to her as the coworker for the entire time. And so we were waiting for them because they had gotten to, I think they had rope dropped. And so they already had gone on Space Mountain.
That's right. Okay.
And we were supposed to rope drop. We did not make it in time. And so we're like, we'll just meet you when you get off. And I want to say, didn't they go on it twice or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, where the line was still so short, so they went right back on it. And so we were like, okay, well, we'll wait for them. And so we got a picture in front of the partner statue. And while we were waiting to take a picture, they showed up. So Daniel videoed them showing up. Yep. And then we headed on through the castle and went to the Red Rose Tavern and got the bonjour breakfast and
we were already hungry after that Waffle Cristo and strawberry croissant.
And the pancake that I can't remember the name of that has a really good...
This is pretty eye-opening for Joanna to see us.
Strawberry guava.
Feasting.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Syrup?
Yes. So that was very tasty. Yeah. So we enjoyed that. And our oldest ate some snacks. I can't remember what. And then he was like, okay, well, I want to go ride Autopia with Aunt Joanna and Nina.
Yeah, our oldest will ditch us
Yeah.
at any point
Yep.
if there's another person there, which we said last time, I think, too.
Yes.
It happened with Grandma.
And so they went off to do Autopia, and we don't love Autopia. And our youngest was like, great, I get to be an only child for a while. So we went and did the teacups, and then we went on Dumbo.
Hey, are you excited about Autopia becoming electric?
Yes.
Are you going to go on it?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
see? I hope they update
I
lot of
will
it.
wait in an hour line
Wow.
because I hope they update like what you drive through and stuff. But one of the main reasons that I hate Autopia right now is how hard the pedal is to press and how stinky it is.
You
And
hope
so
they make it better.
if they get better cars where the gas pedal doesn't feel like you're doing a leg workout for the entire 10-minute drive, and it doesn't smell like your mouth is like right next to the exhaust pipe, then the ride will be fine because the actual like areas that you drive through are pretty.
I think the easy way to do this is they make all the cars electric and call it good. I would love to see them add some new cooler elements, be it tunnels with, visuals and stuff in it, but
They did modernize some of the things along the way, I would say, in the
Did they?
last 10 years or
Okay.
so. Like I don't remember exactly what, but there were some additions. So I wonder if they will try to do that again of like, okay, what do we predict happening in the next 50 years?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to put out on the course.
if they're going to keep it, I hope they refresh it.
But yeah, we stayed back and did teacups with our youngest because that's what he picked. And then he picked Dumbo.
This has been
Yeah.
a nightmare ever since I've owned a cell phone. I've been concerned about what happened on this ride.
Our youngest and Daniel were in an elephant behind me, and I was an elephant in front. And so I was trying to take pictures of them and stuff because it was cute. And I was up higher than them so I could take pictures. And then they went up. And so I was like, okay, I'll turn around because I can't really see them now. And I was holding my phone in my left hand, but it was like crossed over my lap. And I had turned around one more time to like look at them and wave, but I couldn't see them. So when my right arm came back, my elbow hit my phone. And you know how on the Dumbo ride, there's no door on the Dumbo, right? It's just kind of open. So my elbow hit my phone and it just goes flying out of Dumbo. And I am at the highest point that Dumbo can be. And I thought, well, I guess I don't have a phone for the rest of our trip, kind of like Daniel lost his phone in China.
One time.
And you'll
The one time I went to China.
I'll never let that go. And so I was like, well, that's the end of my phone. I have a Pixel 7. And so we get off the ride and a cast member is holding the phone and she's like, is this anybody's?
This
And I'm
just
like,
knocked someone unconscious.
well,
Is this your phone?
I was afraid this would land in the water, and it didn't. It landed on the cement. And so I was like, yeah, that's my phone. And the Pixel 7 is glass front and back. I have a case on it, and it's a cheap Amazon case. And I took the case off and looked, and I don't even have a screen protector. Okay, it's this cheap case.
So how bad was it?
There's nothing wrong with it. There is a little ding in the case, and that's a reminder to me to be more careful. Now, does it always ring when people call me? No. Do all text messages come through? No, but that's beside the point. The phone looks fine.
It could have been anything that did that.
I mean, it could be T-Mobile.
Yeah, from the height, you were all the way at the top, right?
Yeah, I was all the way at the top. Yep. So my phone survived. So, the Pixel 7, it has some operating issues, but it looks just fine.
Okay. You headed over to Astro Blasters with our youngest, and then I went with Nina, Joanna, and Bruce, and we hit up Space Mountain because our youngest was not interested.
So back up real quick. We saw Alice riding the teacups.
That's right.
As we were leaving Fantasyland to head over to Tomorrowland, we saw Alice riding the teacups.
And
I want to say that, and the Mad Hatter was there too.
Alice and the Mad Hatter, from other TikToks I've seen too, they seem to really be owning Fantasyland.
Mm-hmm.
Like they go out and they interact with people, they ride the rides with them, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a really neat experience.
Yep. So that was neat to see and walk by. So yeah, so you headed over to Space Mountain and I headed over to Astro Blasters. I ended up with 340,300 and our youngest ended up with 72,000 or no, 7,200. I'm sorry. I can't read my phone. But he got all those points in like the first room.
Yeah, you said he hit something and his points just boosted up, right? In that first room.
And I don't think he got any more points the entire ride. But he found something that was worth like quite a few points. And I was like, how did he do that? So yeah, that was impressive. Okay. So then after this, we were waiting for you guys to get off of Space Mountain. And so we went to, is it Star Traders?
Star Trader, yeah.
And they had the Ahsoka collection, but it was like the jean-looking sweatshirts and the Ahsoka ears. And so I used the gift card from your mom and dad and got the Ahsoka ears, and then used, you said I could buy what I wanted in Disneyland for my birthday. So I bought the sweatshirt to go with it. So I'm really excited to wear that on our next trip. And I'm going to be buying Ahsoka earrings from, I think it's Girls Crew.
Are these the lightsaber ones?
Yeah. So it's Ahsoka's head, and then it's her lightsaber dangling. So I'm going to be buying those with birthday money that my parents gave me, because everyone knows that I just want money to buy Disney stuff.
I see we went to Pizza Planet after this.
Okay, yeah. So you headed to Pizza Planet and we went into Batu.
I don't remember, but I assume I was just grabbing our oldest a slice of cheese pizza.
It looks like it, because he's sitting in a stroller eating a slice of cheese pizza.
Before going into Batu.
In front of the Millennium Falcon.
That sounds about right. Yeah, Joanna was desperately trying to get Chewie's attention at this point, too.
Mm-hmm.
He did not see her at all.
Yeah, he just walked right past. So we were, by the Millennium Falcon. I got the youngest green milk, because we only got blue milk the last trip.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so bummed that we didn't get green milk. And so I was like, I'm getting you green milk. And I was like, this is our last day.
Yeah.
I have to go get you green milk. Oh, and then we saw Chopper when we were up here.
This is a great character day in Galaxy's Edge for me. Because I'd never seen Chopper. None of us had seen Chopper before, I don't think.
No, we hadn't. Because our oldest was like, Chopper, you're my mom's favorite droid.
Yeah, he had a really good interaction with him the whole time. And Chopper interacted and came and saw you. That was really cool. And then I got to see the Mandalorian and Grogu for the first time.
Yes, because I have seen Mando and Grogu in Christmas of 22.
Yeah, that was really cool.
You got to see Ahsoka. Which
I did. I think was that
really jealous.
Was it that around this time?
That was a little bit later, but yeah, it was around that time. So then we went up to Docking Bay 7, because your sister and her friend or coworker wanted the cold brew black calf is what they wanted. So we went up there and sat in Docking Bay 7. They ate their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, had their coffees, and then you headed to grab something and ran into Ahsoka, and you end up buying a hat.
So I think we went and got lunch, because I see that we got Ronto. You got a Ronto wrap. I got a Ronto-less wrap, which I'd never had before. It was good. It was a vegetarian Ronto wrap. It was good. Not nearly as good as a regular Ronto wrap. So I've learned my lesson then. But yes, I went to go get you a Tatooine Sunset.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got distracted because they had that hat that I really wanted and have for about a year and a half now. The one that's very, well, I'd say maybe Asian inspired hat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought it. I was real excited about it. And then on my way back to you, I ran into Ahsoka and got a picture with her and sent it to you, and then came back and said hello. So it was a real good day for me.
Yep. And that's only lunch. We're only at lunch.
Yeah.
And we went on the Millennium Falcon and we went all together. I don't remember how bad we did.
That's right. We filled up the entire cockpit with everybody that was there. So that was fun.
So then at this point, I think you and our oldest went and did canoes.
So yes, I made sure that I got to ride my beloved canoes. I took my oldest with me because he was excited to go on it again. Yeah, again, I'm going to keep advocating for it. It is one of the best kept secrets about Disneyland, because the tongue-in-cheek joke is, oh, these are terrible, no one likes them. Turns out they're great and everyone should go on it. And there's hardly ever a line. Thank you.
I have yet to get our youngest on there. I wouldn't mind doing it. He just is so adamantly against it. And I'm like, I'm not going to make you go.
Okay. So, well, we'll see if we can maybe talk him into it this time. I think he'd end up liking it.
This time. You mean in September?
In September.
So at this point, your sister had to go to a bridal shower. So she left. And Nina was happy to just go wander Disneyland by herself. And so we had park hoppers, and there was a few things in California Adventure that we did not get in yet, surprisingly enough. And so we were like, okay, we're going to jump parks. So we headed to Pym Test Kitchen after we split off from Nina and Joanna and grabbed the almond cold brew. And it had a pink foam top with sprinkles.
Okay.
Our youngest, of course, was like, I have to try this. So we let him try it. He hated it.
Yeah, he Knows he doesn't like coffee, but he knows he has to try it.
Or he doesn't have to try it. He just wants to try
Impulsively needs
every
to.
single coffee. And yeah, it was okay. I think online people were kind of either loved it or hated it. And we were like, yeah, it was fine. I would get it again. But the best cold brew that they've had was the cold brew infusion. And I think that was at Christmas time.
Okay.
But I saw that they had it back. But I don't know how. I don't know if it's their new cold brew.
They
or what.
They have the best rotation of cold brews.
Yes.
Because their Halloween one was super good last time too.
Oh, that's right.
The toasted marshmallow one.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I think it's at some point around here, our oldest and me went and did Guardians of the Galaxy, and we rode the trolley to the front of the park.
Was there a long line
for Guardians?
Yeah.
I don't remember. This may have been the instance when all but 2 gantry lifts were closed.
Oh, right. So
And
it took you longer than expected because I made it all the way back to Goofy Sky School to the churro cart. And I can't remember the exact name of the churro, but I want to say it was some kind of almond something. So I walked our youngest in the stroller all the way back there, only to get there and realize he was fast asleep.
Was this the almond cookie?
Yes, the almond
churro?
cookie.
Because this was the Lunar New Year was still going on.
Yes, I did not have it written down. I don't know why.
Okay.
It looks like I might have accidentally deleted it. So I had walked all the way back there, bought the churro, looked down at him, and he's fast asleep. So I was like, well, I can't really push a stroller and hold a churro. So I ate an entire churro all by myself.
That's the way to do it. It's the Disney way.
I always have to share. And this, I couldn't because my little passenger had fallen asleep.
Were you eating it over the stroller and he woke up just covered in churro dust and almonds?
No.
He was your little almond cookie.
And so it was a really good churro. Really enjoyed it. It had some icing on it.
We had it last year too, right? This is something they brought back. Yeah.
I don't recall. Sorry. But it was really tasty. So I loved it. And then I walked him back to the hotel and put him down for a nap because I was like,
Brush the crumbs off of him.
He is exhausted. And then I have pictures. Oh, this is when you and our oldest. So after you did Guardians of the Galaxy, you did the dance off.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've got the little dance party show in front of Guardians of the Galaxy where Peter Quill comes out with Gamora and they do this whole storyline bit where they're like, hey, we got to play music and dance so that we can mess up the censors. Our oldest, this is like his favorite thing, are these dance parties. And he got to go nuts for about 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun to see him not have that inhibition.
Yeah.
Because it's just cool.
Yeah.
He had an absolute blast, and it's neat to see him have that much fun. But then I think we met up with you back at the hotel and we all took some naps.
Yes. And then we headed back. I think this was right before dinner. We were cutting it close because we wanted to get the birria grilled cheese for dinner. And I forgot. I don't know how, but I forgot to order it first thing that morning.
And this is a seasonal sandwich that is one of our absolute favorite things that we can only get.
And I think I was so caught up in like finding Joanna and Nina and getting our breakfast ordered and stuff. And I just blinked and Daniel did not remember either. So I'm going to share the blame here. Oh, that's right. Because I'm in charge of all things vacation.
I'm very good at eating.
You're just you're just there to ride along. Joanna, Nina, and I have been checking the app all day to be like, is it back? Can we order it? Because it was sold out and it was like, it was not available. We could not get it. And they wanted to get it too because they had seen it on TikTok.
Yeah, Nina had seen like a ton of Disneyland TikToks. So
I think she was probably prepping for our trip.
She seemed like on the full influencer track that she had to try all these things she saw.
Mm-hmm. We were kind of a little bit close, but we ran into California Adventure because you and our oldest had tried to get on Incredicoaster and something wasn't working. And you had gotten a pass that could get you on later. Mm-hmm. Well, when I got to Incredicoaster, internet is horrible over there. We have the Magic Bands, but because it was linked to your ticket, it was not linked to my Magic Band. And my phone would not load the tickets.
Oh.
And so our oldest and I had walked all the way to the pier only to find out we could not make it.
That stinks.
And he has a hard time with change and things not going as he had planned. But we talked through it and we we walked all the way back to Disneyland, and you and our youngest went down to the pier. And what did you end up getting?
Oh, was this when we needed the Wally thing?
Yep.
Was this when I played against him?
Yeah.
And we got the boot? That's right. So our youngest is into collecting sets. At this point in the trip, we already had an Eevee, a Wally, and a Mo plushie. And the one thing that he was missing was a stuffed boot with a little plant coming out of it. And the only place that you could get that particular plushie was at one of the boardwalk games. And it meant that he had to beat someone at a game. So I decided we're just going to make this easy. It'll be me versus him. We'll end up getting the boot. It's that game where you shoot water into a target, and then whoever's goes up highest, the fastest wins. So I played left-handed. I filmed a selfie of the two of us playing, and I destroyed him. And I got the boot. I did give it to him. The
disappointment on his face when you were filming, and they give you the boot, and he's just like, I didn't get it. Dad did. And then you go, just kidding, and you hand it to him.
I have two videos now, one of our oldest and one of our youngest, of me beating them at the same game, left-handed, while barely looking at the screen, or while barely looking at the game itself. So I'll cherish those forever. And they both got it, and we're both extremely happy when I threw the plushies their way. Yeah, I beat them there, and then we did that, and then ran back into Disneyland.
Yep. So we ran back into Disneyland to the Jolly Holiday. We got the beef birria grilled cheese for Daniel and I. We got grilled cheese for our youngest. Why I ordered 3 sandwiches, I have no idea.
We had a whole feast when I sat down.
That was so much food. And then on top of that, I had ordered treats earlier in the day because I couldn't get the beef birria. I was like, I will at least order the desserts because I don't want to miss those.
So 3 sandwiches, 3 bowls of soup that came with the sandwich. I mean, the birria.
It's not soup.
Well, okay, 1 bowl of soup and 2 bowls of beef compote or beef.
Oh, yeah, because grilled cheese comes with tomato soup.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
we got the s'mores tart and the banoffee pie. So that was a lot of food.
Yeah.
And Joanna and Nina, I think, each got their own sandwich, too.
Yeah, so the tables were full.
There was a lot of food. I don't even remember what we fed our oldest. Did we get him to eat a grilled cheese?
Oh, you know what? I think he might have eaten a grilled cheese, which is a real change of pace for him.
Yeah, so I think we got him to eat a grilled cheese
will know.
So that you did not have to run over to Pizza Planet.
The banoffee pie, I loved. Was one of my favorite desserts from that trip.
Our youngest and I were fine with that because we love the s'mores tart. We did not love the banoffee pie.
The banoffee pie was what? It was pie crust, like caramel and banana and sugar. Yep. Mm-hmm. That was super good. Now, I did love the s'mores pie too. That was this one that you said was a chocolate dessert that you liked?
This is the best chocolate thing Disneyland has ever made, was the s'mores tart.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, then we headed back into Batu, and where's the place where you make droids? Droid Depot?
Droid Depot.
So we went to Droid Depot for some reason. Don't know why. Then we went over to Thunder Mountain Railroad. Oh, you know what? I think our oldest had gone with Joanna and Nina on something. I think they might have gone to Smuggler's Run.
Okay.
So our youngest and us two were, again, he was thrilled to be an only child for a short time. Mm-hmm. Finished up our treats, and then we headed into Batu to find them, and then headed over to Thunder Mountain Railroad. And at this point, our oldest had ditched Aunt Joanna and was Nina's best friend.
Yep.
And so Joanna was sad and sat with you, and our youngest sat with me. So they had a good time. Then we got some really cute pictures of Aunt Joanna with the boys with Thunder Mountain Railroad in the background.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Really neat. And then our oldest jumped on her back and almost knocked her over. And I was like, oh, don't break Aunt Joanna.
Tip, also going into our intro, if you're going to Disneyland for the first time in a long time, don't forget to look up. Disney does skylines well. Mm-hmm. Like, especially at night, the way that the mountain was lit up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really cool. Mm-hmm. Look up. The skylines in Disneyland are cool.
So that was really neat. And then we headed back to Main Street because we were planning to do fireworks. The boys had really wanted to do fireworks, and so that was our plan. This is when we picked up the chocolate mousse brownie and the lemon meringue eclair. Both were just okay. So again, Disney, you really need to figure out your chocolate game. You need to work with Ghirardelli or something because
they have a Ghirardelli shop.
I know. I don't understand. Chocolate isn't hard. Like
Coming from a former chocolatier.
yeah, it's not hard. You buy the right chocolate, it tastes good. They're obviously not buying the right chocolate. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
We got a peach tea.
Oh, that's right. From the red way. Yeah, your sister brought you a peach tea. I can't believe you let her do that.
I think I deserve to be spoiled every now and then. By my sister.
Oh, your wife spoils you all the time.
So let's see. What did we did? Astro Blasters next after we didn't see fireworks.
Yeah. So we got a really good spot for fireworks because I like to get the front right behind a rope. So not like at the back of a pack with a rope behind you, but at the front of the pack with a rope in front of you.
Right. So there's multiple roped off sections, and you're talking the very front of one section where there's a gap and then another section.
Yes. And so we were at the end of Main Street. So that's where Daniel likes to be because then he can turn and see Main Street. And then I can still see the castle pretty well. And we waited, I don't know, was it 20 minutes?
I think so.
So I think we got there at like 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
We got there. So right before fireworks were going to start, our oldest was like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, but you're the one that wanted to see the fireworks. And this was Mickey's Mixed Magic, so not as good of a show. If it had been Wondrous Journeys, I was like, no way, we are doing this. Sit down.
Oh, yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of Mickey's Mixed Magic.
So it was Mickey's Mixed Magic, and I was like, that's fine. And so we asked everybody else, and they're like, we don't care.
And this is on the tail end of a pretty long trip, too. So we, as parents, had to understand that, like, our kids are pretty burnt out by this. So it was not a show that we were particularly thrilled about. It was a good opportunity to sit for about 20 minutes. So skipping it was not like we were ruining anything.
Eating
for our
our
trip.
snacks.
Mm-hmm.
So we went on Astro Blasters instead. And I was incorrect. That first time, because I was like, the score didn't seem right. The first time was not when Peter got the high score in the first room. This is the time that Peter...
Gotcha.
Cut all that out. So this is the time that our youngest got the high score in the first room. And then got no more points the entire time. So we had a good time doing that. And then we got out and we could see some of the fireworks as we were walking through Tomorrowland. And then I show here that we went back into Fantasyland and went on the teacups. And I don't know if that was just me and I think it just might have been me and our youngest. So I'm wondering if you four went off and did something else.
Well, I got Astro Blasters twice on here, so I don't know if maybe we stayed and did that.
No.
I know the submarines we did.
Okay, then you guys did submarines.
Okay.
So you went to the submarines. That's right. And that's right, because you left the stroller there.
I did leave the stroller there.
So then we went to teacups while you did submarines with you, Joanna, Nina, and our oldest, youngest, and I, teacups. And then we went up to Toontown. And I think we were going to try to get on Runaway Railway, but I don't recall if we did.
I have that we did it. I have that we got on it.
Okay, and it was all of us?
I don't know.
Because I don't have a picture. So
the last two things that I have are Mickey and Minnie and popcorn and strawberry churro. Now, I do know that at some point our youngest did 25 cartwheels and 50 jumping jacks because I have that filmed.
Yes. We went up to Toontown. And then you four met up with us, and then you realized you didn't have the stroller. And I think we were like, let's just leave the stroller. And we went on Mickey and Minnie's, and then our boys played on Goofy's playground for a while. And then, our youngest did his ridiculous amount of cartwheels.
Like, 10:30 at night?
Yeah. Yeah. And so then our oldest went with Aunt Joanna and Nina over to Indiana Jones because we could get another fast pass. And I believe that was the, we had gotten this quite earlier in the day, but it was the last available time. And Nina and Joanna really wanted to go on Indiana Jones.
Right.
And so we were like, okay, we will get Indiana Jones for the three of you. Mm-hmm. And so they went and did that. And then I think we went down Main Street and did some shops. And then we got... What was it? Popcorn
and a strawberry churro.
A strawberry churro, which was not great. I think it had strawberry sugar.
I think so,
and the chocolate dipping sauce.
Fine.
The regular churro's way better. And then we had a fight. But
did we? This wouldn't be the first fight that we've had while eating popcorn and eating churros on Main Street.
Really?
I think we've gotten in arguments in similar situations before.
Oh, I don't remember the other ones. But this one was, you weren't listening to me. And I was so tired and I was very frustrated with you because I wanted to go sit down and you were just, you think you were in your own world because you were tired. And
That sounds about right.
and I got frustrated. And our youngest was like, oh no, don't do this, please. So we did apologize, and we apologized to our youngest. You can cut all this out if you want. And we apologized to our youngest too for fighting. And it was over something dumb, and we were both just tired.
Yeah, our Disneyland arguments tend to be when we're tired and over things that are very dumb in hindsight. They aren't the fun, like, blowing up, you see people screaming at each other.
That's not fun. What are you talking about?
Not fun if we're involved, but if you see it, it's kind of
right. But if we're involved, that'd be way worse.
No, it is more just like
I'm really annoyed at you right now.
But how could you be annoyed with a strawberry churro in your hand and a bucket of popcorn?
The churro was awful. It was not good.
So it was the churro's fault that we got in an argument.
Yeah, we didn't even finish the churros. Like, they weren't that good. I think our youngest ate the chocolate sauce.
I remember holding the churros and be like, do you want this? You're like, no. Well, I was like, I don't want it.
So our youngest, I think he pretty much just used the churro to like get the chocolate sauce out and lick the chocolate sauce. And then we threw away the churro.
11 o'clock at night, and he's licking sugar off a churro and using it to dip it in chocolate.
Yeah. So we did apologize before we left. It was short-lived. By the time Joanna, Nina, and our oldest got back to us, they had no idea anything had happened.
Well, that's the old saying, don't leave the Magic Kingdom angry.
Oh, it should be, don't be angry in the Magic Kingdom, like at all, But that's what happens when you get tired. And because
how many days of parks was this?
This was day 5.
This is the tail end of day 5 of Disney, or all parks?
All parks.
Okay.
Yeah. So we really packed it in, but it was good. Like, it's funny in hindsight, but the key with any kind of fight, and if you have it in front of your children, is to apologize, and to apologize with your children knowing that you've made up.
Yeah.
Because
that's something we try to do.
Yeah. Not something I'm proud of. I hope we never do that again.
Well, we just won't get a strawberry churro again.
Yeah, that churro really did it. Okay. Yeah, like strawberry sauce would have been better. But why strawberry sugar?
I'd have liked it if they did freeze-dried strawberries instead of the strawberry sugar.
Oh, yeah. That would have been better too.
Or a wet strawberry sauce.
Yeah, something. Anything would have been better than the strawberry they opted for, which was sugar.
I don't think we're going to get into it in this episode, but I'm not the biggest fan of Disneyland churros, just in general. I'll eat them and I will enjoy them.
No, you won't.
No, but we're going to look. This isn't this.
No. Listen.
If we fight over this stupid strawberry churro again here.
No, listen. If you're not the biggest fan of Disneyland churros, our youngest and I will happily eat a half.
I want to taste it.
Okay, we'll give you a nibble.
We need to do a list of our top 5 churros. Because like the Fluffernutter churro, I'll eat it all day, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to, this is the last of our trip reports until we go on to the next one. We're going to be doing more topical episodes moving forward, maybe more lists, kind of back to what we were doing before. But we said that we do this, so I don't know if you're in a position to do it, but what are your top 5 things at Disneyland currently? This doesn't have to be a definitive list. Top 5, anything at Disneyland. We did it for California Adventure. We did it for Universal Studios.
All right, top 5 things. Okay, go first with one of them.
Number 1, the history. Disneyland is my favorite active, living museum. If you listen to my most recent solo episode, I go into that quite a bit, but Disneyland has so much history, and a different podcast pointed out the fact that Disneyland, or the Disney company, is it's been around for a third of our country's history, which is a pretty significant chunk of time. Mm-hmm. And you can walk down and see things that you could have seen in the 1950s in Disneyland today, not only behind glass, but you can interact with it. And I think that's pretty cool.
Jolly Holiday.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite restaurants.
When we started, you go ahead. Sorry.
This is my thing.
I know.
I'm going to be feisty now. It rotates out its treats, so it's not always the same. So each season it's slightly different. So you get to try a lot of different things. They always have the Jolly Holiday Special. I think what's that what it's called?
The grilled cheese.
The grilled cheese and tomato soup. They always have that. That's amazing. The Raspberry macaron. Wow. Raspberry almond macaron. It's my favorite thing. Now they do rotate that out sometimes to bring other things in, but that is usually a standard. And that is probably my favorite. So I'm doing one top 5 and including all these things under it.
Well, and see, when we started dating and we got snacks at the Jolly Holiday is when I realized how different each of the restaurants in Disneyland were, right? Like, because I grew up never buying food there, and I tried the Practically Perfect Punch and was like, this is fantastic. It's the only place I can get this snack.
Right.
It's gone. They don't have it anymore, unfortunately.
Oh,
but they
that was better than the mint juleps.
It was so good.
It was so good.
It was like a pomegranate limeade-esque type thing.
That's right.
The Practically Perfect Punch at the Jolly Holiday was out of this world, and it's gone.
Now I need you to find a recipe and try to replicate.
Yeah. Number 2 for me is the engineering, or the Imagineering, if you will. I won't get too into it, but Disneyland has billions of dollars to throw towards the engineering of entertainment, and you get to see some pretty darn cool stuff that you can't see anywhere else. And if you have not seen the Imagineering story on Disney Plus, even if you're not interested in Disney, which if you've made it this far into the podcast, I'm shocked. It's incredibly interesting.
Yeah. There is a lot of things. How many episodes? 6? Was there 6 episodes? Something like that.
6 or 8.
Some even number. Maybe there's 4.
Maybe 10.
Also, I can't believe I just called my favorite treat the wrong thing. It's a raspberry rose macaron. Yeah. I am not with it. I think having to wake up last night and give someone medicine for growing pains really threw me.
That's fine.
Star Wars Rise of Resistance is in my top 5.
Okay, that's a great one. That goes right in line with my next one, which is just Galaxy's Edge as a whole. I have not teared up frequently at Disneyland. However, walking into Galaxy's Edge for the first time got me. That transition from Frontierland to Galaxy's Edge is still my favorite. And walking from Frontierland into that was as if I'd been turned into the 8-year-old kid talking with Dalton Parker saying, man, I wish I hope they make a Star Wars theme park someday.
You should probably back up and just say Dalton and not his full name.
He doesn't care.
Okay, that's your number 3. My number 3, this is hard because I kind of want to go broader because then it covers more things, but there's also specifics that I really like. I'm going to go with the castle.
Oh, okay.
I really like our castle. I know people make fun of it. Like Disney World people always make fun of our castle. I love our Sleeping Beauty castle. I love that you can walk through it and see the Sleeping Beauty story. And also just that we get a picture in front of it every single trip. So there's a lot of nostalgia there for me. And kind of like you walking into Batu, me walking through the castle is just really neat.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And there's not like a huge transition there, but it's just like you're walking into the magic and into the Fantasyland.
Yeah. Very similarly, my next one is the canoes.
How is that similar?
It takes your breath away.
Yes, it does.
No, I put the canoes. I think it is such a change of pace, and it's like just the minorest, the smallest dose of like real adventure into Disneyland because you're actually paddling a canoe, which is cool. And then it has all the facade around it. I love it. I love the canoes, and it made my top 5 things at Disneyland. So not attractions necessarily. We did do attractions. I think it made that list too, but
yeah, it did. That's right. So I'm seeing a theme. I like the end of Main Street.
Yeah.
Because my other one is Plaza Inn.
Oh yeah, Plaza Inn.
Yeah. I really like the chicken dinner there, but I also like sitting in their eating area because it's a little bit off the path. I mean, the path's right there, but they do have a whole bunch of bushes. So you do feel separate from the crowds. Yeah. But you can see the castle. You can hear the sounds of Tomorrowland and the Astro Blasters. You can hear the vehicles going up and down Main Street. And it's like you're part of everything, but yet you're just a step away. And it's a nice place where we have done lunch or dinner. I think we typically do lunch there, where you can take a break, but you still are experiencing so much of what's going on. And I just love eating there. And my family, when we would go, we did Plaza Inn a couple times because my dad's birthday is summer. And so we would usually If we did Disneyland, it was usually around his birthday, which I think subconsciously that might be why I like going for my birthday.
Sure.
Without even realizing that until like, I don't know, a month or so ago, I put that together and I was like, oh, maybe that's why I like going for my birthday. But we would go to Plaza Inn for his birthday and he would get his own dinner. And then my mom and at this point, my littlest sister wasn't there. So it was just my mom and then me and my two sisters. And so then we would my mom and I would split a meal and my two sisters would split a meal. And then my dad would eat all our leftovers too. But yeah, so it has a lot of nostalgia because my family did that. And now our family goes there. And I really just like how close it is to everything, but yet how you get that different or that rest from all the craziness and all the people.
Yeah, it is nice and separated. I want to do the character dining there at some point because I've really enjoyed Goofy's Kitchen, and doing character dining in the park I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Well, we better mark our calendars for September so I can get that booked. All right, what is your fifth item?
Yeah, my fifth one is a very broad thing, but the variety, right? Every time we go, there's something new. One of the things that we do as a family is we watch a lot of YouTube videos on the new food for the season and the new merchandise. It is so cool to be able to see unique things pop up all the time. And so there's always something new to look forward to when you go.
I am going to say the boats on rivers of America. I really like the Mark Twain and I really like the Columbia.
And the canoes.
And you love the canoes. And I like the little rafts that go over to Pirate Island too.
Yeah, it's a neat little thing they got there.
It's Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer Island. I like the little rafts that go across too, but those boats are fun. And I took you on the Columbia for the first time last September.
I've never been on it.
You had never been. And I know our boys have not been on the Mark Twain. The Mark Twain has been out of commission for a while. I don't know if they have been on either boat. So we're going to have to remedy that.
Yeah.
So we'll have to look back. I'm guessing our oldest might have been on the Mark Twain and he just doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
But he was like, when that white boat is fixed, I want to go on it because the last time they were renovating it. So
yeah, I'm down for it. Let's do it.
So yeah, we need to get them on there. But I like it because again, it takes you just a step away from all the crowds, but you still get to see Disneyland, but from a different perspective. You're not walking, you're on a boat, and you get to look back at the land of everything and then also just go around the island and see what's there. And it's nice. I like it. I can deal with the crowds in Disneyland, but they are not my favorite. So things that can get me away from them, I really like. And I think I've said 5 things.
I think so. Okay, well, great. We're going to come up with topics on what we're going to do for the next few episodes. We don't have them figured out just yet. I know that there's lots going on with Disneyland, with the Disneyland Forward project moving.
Oh, yes.
Progressing. A lot of changes coming, so that's exciting. But for now.
And there is the Star Wars nights right now.
Oh, and Season of the Force.
The Season of the Force. There we go. And I really wanted to do food, but we obviously ran out of time.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're interested. It's not going to happen on Star Wars Day, but we're interested in doing a podcast Star Wars party. And so that's sort of in the works, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Find us on all forms of social media at OfMiceandMatterhorns, except on X, or Twitter, as it is also known, where we are at OfMiceandMatterhorns. No, at MiceMatterhorns. And you can reach us at OfMiceandMatterhorns@gmail.com. Please reach out to us. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any questions. It's been a little while since we've had a listener question, and we really, really enjoy having those. So send us a line.
And with that,
have a Disney day.
Your attention, please. Of Mice and Matterhorns has now ended its normal operating episode. We thank you for your visit to our podcast and hope that the memories that you made will bring you back soon.